Countries most in debt to the IMF. Countries most in debt to the IMF. In 2024. In 2024, in total, in total, 100 countries owe money to the IMF. To the IMF. To the IMF. And the grand total all, grand total of of all of these debts is dollar dollar 111 billion. We are using we are using IMF data for top 10 for top 10 countries. Top 10 countries most in debt to the IMF. Countries most in debt to the IMF. India has not taken loan from the India has not taken loan from the IMF. India has not taken any loan from the IMF. And 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 fully 100% and fully 100% repayment was already done. Fully 100% repayment was already done. Argentina dollar 32 billion. Egypt dollar 11 billion. Ukraine 9 billion. Pakistan Pakistan 7 billion. Ecuador Ecuador 6 billion. Colombia Colombia 3 billion. Angola Angola 3 billion. Kenya 3 billion. Ghana 2 billion. Cote d'Ivoire 2 billion. country. IMF credit. IMF debt.
दादाजी समझ से नीचे करेंगे
IMF
और मैंने
IMF debt as percentage of IMF debt. Five point 5.3%, 3.1%, IMF debt as percentage of GDP. IMF debt percentage of GDP. 3.1, 4.7, 1.8, 4.9, 0.8, 3.2, 2.8, 2.6, 2.6, 2.6, 2.3, 2.3. Population. .62 4.62 crores. 11.1 crores. 3.8 crores. 23.58 crores. 1.8 crores. 5.19 crores. 3.56 crores. 5.4 crores. 3.35 crores. 2.82 crores. 65.22 crores. Thus, we find that that total $65.22 crores population $65.22 crore population of 10 5 crore total 65.22 crore population of 10 crore of 10 countries are are in a debt trap. Some of the 10 countries are regular defaulter in repayment of IMF loan. On the other hand, 141 crores population of India is liberated from IMF debt plus high interest trap. On the other hand, 141 crore population of India is liberated from IMF debt plus interest trap. IMF debt plus high interest trap by the Indian government. Argentina Argentina was defaulter many times, not repaying IMF debt and interest, debt and interest payment. Now, I recall that in few days back, I had posted the causes and conditions of these 10 nations who are indebted to IMF. This is a vicious circle. Once you take loan from IMF, it is for 5 years, and you have to pay interest on it. And if you are defaulter, then you will be penalized for that. And IMF will suggest you to make reform. Only then they will provide you further loan if you are in trouble. Recall India in 1991. 1991 in India, there was $77 billion to be paid to those parties which had purchased India's bond. Sometimes government of India or any government float government bond, and government bond gives more interest. So in foreign countries, India bond was purchased large number of rich people, and India got the fund for further development. But in 1991, when India has to return dollar on the basis of maturity of the bond, $77 billion was to be returned. But at that time, in January month, there was only $1 billion in Indian stock. That is called as economic crisis of India between 1990 to 1991. And at that time, the prestige of the country is at stake. And therefore, at that time, Prime Minister of India, Chandrasekhar ji, he ordered to sell, to mortgage gold in London money market and bring dollar, so that 77 billion debt, 77 million bond repayment will be carried on. And it was successfully done. And the prestige of the country was saved by Prime Minister Chandrasekhar ji. And thereafter, IMF gave loan in dollar to India after India agreed to do economic reforms. That means IMF forcing India to start liberalization, privatization, and globalization, so that rich countries of the world will come to India, invest in India, and India will be able to return IMF loan. Think the period of 1991. We all call Narasimha Rao, and at that time, Dr. Manmohan Singh was finance minister, Narasimha Rao was prime minister. They started economic reform. That economic reform was started not because only for development. It was because the order of IMF. You read the literature of that time. Our government was requesting time and again that we are going to liberate shortly. But it was said, no, by the month of July, you must reform your economy, and liberalization, privatization, and globalization must be done, so that India will be open economy and more foreign investors will be attracted to Indian economy. In India, there will be reform of different type, in revenue reform, in tax reform, in expenditure reform, and thereby economy will also grow. The role of IMF is to suggest. We read IMF that IMF suggest member countries how to develop and what should be a step to get more foreign currency to repay IMF loan. I am interested in repayment of its loan. It is the scholarship of the Prime Minister of either party. I am not concerned with the party. You see, the party was Congress party, and thereafter this BJP government party, NDA party. The main focus was to repayment of 100% IMF loan that given to India. India repaid 100% loan along with all interest rate, and above that, India decided to give more fund to IMF for the poor nations who are running under the distress, economic distress, natural distress, and therefore now India is just like USA, UK, Japan country which give money to IMF. India has also given money to IMF, not taking any loan from IMF. And we have the population 141 crore, more than China. So there should be internal interest by the administrator, government, that if you take loan from IMF, you repay it, and again you take loan and use for developmental purpose. You will study the Argentina case, will find out it was spent more on luxury and lottery and other big house there. So that I have written in past this situation in Argentina, why it became 5 times defaulter. We are proud of say that we are Indian and our Indian government having the burden of looking after 141 crore people. And you know, desire, wants are not limited, unlimited wants. Many unemployed are running pillar to post that I am unemployed and having telephone in his hand, costly telephone. What is the mystery of costly telephone? iPhone, very costly. Everyone cannot afford it. But I will tell you the example of Bihar, that large number of unemployed youth have best quality of mobile in their hand. And how could it be possible that iPhone is given on monthly rent by the seller? I saw in Patna, in Boring Road, I was there to buy iPhone. Then I saw a long queue of youth. And I asked that why they are standing in the queue. I was surprised that in iPhone shop, it's long queue. Then the madam there she said that all are in queue for iPhone on buy today and pay tomorrow. And that was backed by some financial institution. That may be private institution, that may be any bank, that may be anyone who are in between the two, and all documents are verified and first class documents should be there so that loan will be protected and may not become loss. So it is pleasure that India has paid all the previous IMF loan plus interest over it. And now India is giving dollar, India is giving their money to IMF to loan it, to give as a loan, as a debt to poor countries who are facing the problem at present because of lack of fund. That's all. Thank you. Now I again say, I was not earlier saying this thing, but at present it has become some feature that you read it and you just comment it, like it, subscribe it, and comment it. You always write something positive. Negative is everywhere. You can have negative. You say some positive line that you want this topic to be taught by you. I've been teaching economics for the last 50 years in Patna University, in Chanakya National Law University, in BIT Mesra, Patna Center, in Arcade Business College Management, and most important that in Science College Patna University, I was teaching PG-DAS. What is PG-DAS? Postgraduate Diploma in Actuarial Science. We all know actuarial means risk, and risk is a part of economics. Therefore, in economics, there are many theories about, model about the risk, which is being taught under the PG-DAS, Postgraduate Diploma in Actuarial Science. Nowadays, there are many posts on this basis in trading market. That's all. Thank you.